Acknowledging you have a mother wound is the hard part, but how are you continuously coping though? All right? What's going on, family? It's your girl, Guru G Chastity. And in this episode, we are going to learn 3 things, right? Number 1, how to cope with your symptoms of a mother wound during the holidays, right? Number 2, we are going to talk about how to provide yourself with intentional self-care. And number 3, we are going to talk about how to find loving mirrors, right? Those are the 3 things you need to heal your mother wound during the holidays and essentially continuously cope with the symptoms of your mother wound during the holidays. Holidays. All right, so number 1, coping is continuous. You feel me? Coping is continuous. So spend less energy being upset with yourself about being triggered, right? Coping, because I gotta say it again, so you hear me, bruh. Coping is continuous. So spend less time getting upset with yourself about being triggered, right? So typically that looks like, I go through this all the time. I'll be like, I don't berate myself as much anymore, but I get upset at having the stories or falling in line with the stories. But I do have some students who would literally berate themselves. Well, you know what? I take that back. I do berate myself. Let me act like I'm not exempt. I don't do it as much anymore, and I definitely don't believe it as truth anymore. But what this looks like, right? When we are continuously coping with the symptoms of a mother wound, it looks like at one point we think we heal, we fine, everything's saucy, we having a good time. Next thing we know, we have one minor inconvenience or one adverse experience, and you could have sworn our mama did it to us, but sis ain't nowhere to be found. She ain't nowhere in the vicinity, right? And so learning to continuously heal, right, and find ways to heal, right, allows you to spend less time getting upset at yourself for being triggered, right? Even I've even talked to my mother, and she has said, well, if you've done all this work and you doing all this healing, why you can't just be chill, or why we can't just be? But I'm like, you right, I have figured out that I have a mother wound. I have articulated that, but dealing with the symptoms shows up every day in my life, and some days I just can't call it. You know, one day we can be cool, and the next day I might want to cuss your ass out. I don't know. It depends on how that story came up, okay? So again, spending less time and less energy being upset with yourself or being triggered just looks like fall into the story, right? If something happens or you have an adverse experience in the present moment and it catapults you back to that stunted 6, 7, 8-year-old where you were trying to receive love from your mother or whatever the case may be, and you're pushed there, don't fight to get out of that story, right? So this is what I mean by getting curious, not defensive. Defensive is like, I'm going to fight to believe this story is true. It is what it is. I'm not worthy. I'm no good. Everybody just leave me. Whatever the case may be. Don't fight to stay in that story. Fight to get curious to see how much that is not true. How much you are worthy. How much everybody want to help you. You see what I'm saying? And so spend less time being upset that you go through this cycle of 1 minute being okay and then 1 minute not. The moment you spend your energy getting upset at the process of healing is the moment that you actually come off course. Again, I have a lot of students, and I've recently had to share this experience. When our body is healing, we have the symptoms of the dis-ease. Come on, big butts. We have the symptoms of the dis-ease. So in Western culture, we are taught to eliminate the symptoms so you can eliminate the dis-ease. But in fact, if you have symptoms, like right now, if you had a cold and you exuded the symptoms of having a cold, then that means your body is doing the right thing. It's doing what it's supposed to do and you are on track. The only reason you have the symptoms of a cold is because your body is going through its natural healing process and expelling what doesn't need to be in the body. But in Western culture, it teaches us as soon as we have adverse experiences or symptoms, you want to stop it. You don't want nothing to do with it. Stop the pain. Stop it. But in fact, you want to go through it. You want to allow it to come up so it can be released from you, i.e. you want that mucus and that snot. You want your nose to be running so you can get that shit out of your body. Same thing for the negative stories. Too many times I have my students, and including myself, will have a negative story come up and we throwing our hands up in the air like, oh my God, why am I always so triggered? I thought I was over this. What's wrong with me? All of this hootenanny, right? But that is a clear sign that it's working. It's a clear sign that your mind wants to expel those negative stories and create space for something new. But you fight so hard to hold on to those negative stories. You fight so hard to hold on to your limitations instead of just letting it go. So if those adverse stories come up and you seem like they random, those are healing pains. Those are growing pains. Allow them to come up. Allow them to be. Give yourself space to feel all that and spend less energy trying not to feel it. Right? That's how you make the symptoms of your mother wound worse, especially during the holidays. If the shit hurt your feelings, let your feelings be hurt. But trying to be like, nah, I'm cool, I'm alright. They can go on over there and do that. I don't need to be a part of that family. Like, doing that is not going to get you what you want, big dog. Keeping it player is not going to get you what you want. Be vulnerable and be okay with being vulnerable. So I wrote down like different things that you can do that will take up your time. Because I want you to take up your time. I don't want you to even have enough time to be thinking about or getting upset with yourself or being triggered for dealing with the symptoms of your mother wound, right? So I tried to write down some activities that you can get into that will busy you up, but in a positive way, okay? First one is dancing. Get up and when I lived by myself, that was the number one thing. Whether I felt good or bad, you better shake it off, do something. All right, crying, journaling, finding a hobby. Lord, a hobby will save your life. I'm telling you, I've been out here crocheting ever since I found crochet, and people are willing to give me crochet. People want to buy it. I want to make stuff for myself. I really wake up and be wanting to crochet. I be trying to hurry up and finish my Guruji work. Like, come on, we got to do this assignment. Because when you get home later today, I want to crochet, right? So find things that bring you joy. I just be thinking about crochet. I don't necessarily be thinking about how I'm going to make money with crochet. No, none of that. I just want to be with my crochet. Find you something you just want to be with that just make you feel good, right? And working, right? Having a career, right, can occupy you in a healthy, productive way. Reading and taking notes. You feel me? Read a book and write a book report for every book you read. Now, we ain't talking about no book report for school where you finna get a grade on it. The book report can be however you make it, but just write about what you learned in the book, just in case you want to teach it to somebody else, just in case you want to come back and be like, man, I remember this good hot topic from this one book, this good jewel, I want to go back and get it. Boom, there you go. And now, not only are you reading, but you applying it in real time. And you could do this with fiction. If you just reading a story, write about what you learned from the story, what you find interesting or juicy from the story, right? And then finding a mentor. Find somebody who do what you aspire to do or do what you're interested in, and just be like, hey, can I hang out with you? Can I help you? You need an assistant. Find somebody to mentor you or pay them, right? As I was coming into my healing journey and I was like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I had to realize, like, I had to pay for a mama, i.e. one-on-one coaching. I had to pay for somebody to go work out with me in the gym. Back at home, Body Ford Tough, Joycelyn Ford is a workout trainer. At that point in time in my life, I was going to the gym every day, working out every day. I didn't need a gym partner. I didn't need that, but I needed someone to hang out with, and I couldn't find it regularly in my everyday life, so I paid somebody to be my friend and go to the gym and work out with me. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? If you feel confident, like, hey, I want to do this for me, what, man, whatever. It's the meaning that you put behind it. You see what I'm saying, big dog? Join a meetup group. All right, just moved to Philly. Recently joined a meetup group just so I can meet black people. They doing photography. Yeah, I'm interested in it. Is it like something I'm passionate about? No, but if it helps me meet other black people and get out the house and don't soak in negative stories, don't feel like I ain't got nothing to do, then I'm gonna go do it. That's what I mean, family. Find a community build, right? If you got a business that you can insert in other communities, go and see. But if you like yoga and you're not a part of a yoga community, find one. If you like reading and you're not a part of a book club, find one. If you like crocheting and you're not a part of a club, find one. You see what I'm saying? Positive activities, family. Find positive health activities. These are healthy coping mechanisms. But I can tell you some unhealthy coping mechanisms. Shopping, smoking weed, watching TV, eating food, right? Those are unhealthy coping mechanisms. They have a place, right? Ain't nothing wrong with a little joy, a little ice cream, a little brownie. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But you can't do that every day. You can't do that every day. And it's cold out here. And so we want to go to cozy, familiar, comfortable things. You can't be doing that BS every day. So you better find something healthy that you can put your time and effort into. All right. So that's tip number one. Tip number one is coping is continuous. So spend less energy being upset with yourself for being triggered. Tip number two, self-care is not superficial. Self-care is not superficial. It's taking your favorite kid out to get pampered. Right? You the favorite kid. You the most prized possession. So if you just wanted to show your most prized possession in the world in the best way that you can, you not finna go every time, let's just go get a soda real quick. Huh? A soda? I'm your most prized possession. You just want a soda. Why they do that at? You feel what I'm saying? So self-care is not just about taking care of the physicalness. There are 4 areas of existence and they build on one another: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So your self-care should take care of all 4 areas of existence. But the way Western culture, consumerism, pushes self-care in our face is only about spending money, and it's only about adorning your physical vessel. But your mind needs self-care, your emotions need self-care, and your spirit needs self-care. So don't allow self-care to just live in the physical, meaning you go get a massage, you take yourself out to dinner, you go on a movie date, you go get a facial. Like, don't just adorn your physical vessel. Find other ways to give back to yourself. Because for instance, when you with a little kid, y'all just go do activities. If you have a child and you want to show your child fun, you don't just go put lotion on the baby and be like, oh, there you go, self-care. That's not what you do. You go find an activity for you and that baby to enjoy together. There's a baby that lives inside of you, and whether you want to believe it or not, it exists. Okay? And whether you believe it or not, it will fuck that baby inside, will throw a temper tantrum at the wrong moment and ruin some shit in your life, i.e. self-sabotage, if you don't spend time with her or him, right? If you don't make a valiant effort to say, hey, I value this relationship that we have. Our internal relationship worked like any other relationship, right? When you wanted that girl, when you wanted that boy, you took time to figure out what they like. You took time to sit there and pillow talk and cupcake on the phone, right? But when it come to yourself, oh, you ain't got time to stretch and meditate. Oh, you don't got time to see why your emotions are going awry. You don't got time to read a book so you could be mentally stimulated. Like, what is that? But you want a boo thing. Help me understand it, Cletus. That was number 2. So number 2, self-care is not superficial. Be intentional about it. Tip number 3, you can only do so much. I'm gonna just keep it 100. You can only do so much. So while I'm giving you these tips to like, okay, it's on you. You do this. It's not about your mama. It's about you being the parent to you that you needed. That's only going to take you so far. And I got to be 100 and tell you that. I can't let you think that's the end all be all, because that wasn't the end all be all for me. I did step 1 and step 2. And by the time step 3 came, I say, hey, somebody better come over here. Somebody better come be my friend. But because I determinedly went after step 1 and step 2, right? By the time step 3 came, I was available. And so what step 3 is, you will need to experience the love that you're giving yourself outside of yourself. You're going to need to physically experience that. And that's what relationships are. Relationships either draw to you the unhealed parts of yourself, or they draw the healed parts of yourself. All are for you to experience, right? So you can deepen your experience in life. So you can deepen your understanding, your understanding of reality. But this ain't an isolation game. This ain't I can do it all by myself game. This is not it. Because essentially when you're healing your mother wound, what you want to do is clear the space clear the trauma, clear the stories, clear the adverse experience that's blocking, right, the motherly relationship either you're trying to give to yourself or you're trying to receive from someone else. And so that is the name of the game. That is why we're doing the work to heal the mother wound, so we can actually open up and receive the love that we were deserving of from the beginning of time, right? And so that is, the point of all of this. And so you want to open yourself up to be able to receive who wants to give you love. And I know for me, it was my fairy godmother, my one-on-one coach, which was Coach B. At the time, when we first started, it was a business relationship, but over time, I literally call that woman my fairy godmother because she loves on me in ways that I always needed. She loves on me in ways that when my brain is broken, my IQ is dropped, and I'm in a low level of consciousness and I can only see darkness, she loves me in a way that reflects back to me how awesome I am, right? How amazing I am, how worthy I am, how much I just need to keep trying. I don't need to be lazy. I don't want to give up on myself. I'm going to fight to see the beauty and the divinity within me, right? You need to physically have someone who can reflect that back to you for those moments I just described. There will be moments when your IQ drop, when your brain is broken, when you on the elevator and you're real low and all you see is darkness. You gonna need help. Somebody gonna need to lend you energy. Somebody gonna need to lend you a perspective so you can see your 5-dimensional self. A lot of times we just see ourselves as flat. We don't see all of the dynamic within us. And so because we don't see all of the dynamic within us, sometimes we aren't able to help ourselves in a meaningful way. And it takes somebody saying, hey, big dog, what you doing with all that shine? What you doing with all that shine? Like, you better cut it out, right? It takes that. And what that is called is a loving mirror. Everybody needs a loving mirror. Nobody who was ever successful did it solely on their own. I don't care if you had 50 people, 10, you always got one person that's going to believe in you no matter what. Okay? No matter how many times you stub your toe, they ain't gonna say, hey, my boy, you stupid. Like, why you keep doing that? I know you see that. You need somebody who gonna see you stub your toe and every time gonna be like, damn, I know that hurt. Tell me what you learned. What you think will help. Is there anything that I can do to help? Don't just believe in yourself. Keep believing that you can do it. You ain't gonna stub your toe this time, I promise. Like, you need somebody who's willing to do that for you, right? And so finding a loving mirror is important. And it's especially important if you're healing your mother wound, because you need to experience that motherly love. You're only going to be able to do it for yourself, by yourself for so long, and you're going to need to experience it outside of yourself. I promise you. I promise you that is the key piece. You feel me? You can do all of this work physically. You can do all this work by yourself, but we are all connected. We are all one. We are expressions of one thing. Every single thing is an expression of one thing. And so we are all interconnected, which means you are not supposed to be out there by yourself, dear one, which is why my USP, my unique selling proposition as I do this healing work is that the journey to healing is your responsibility, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm here to support you, right? Because one of my greatest gifts is that I know how to hold a flashlight. That's my number one superpower. So I'm going to walk with you in the darkness and I'm going to flash that light and I'm going to say, don't even act like that. Look at that. Look at that. Go ahead, handle your business. I'm gonna hold the light. I'm gonna let you see it. Whoop their ass. You right? You see what I'm saying? Not physically whip somebody's ass, but your demons, whatever the case may be, your trauma, right? That's what one-on-one coaching is. I just work around with you. I just say, hey, look in this direction, right? Too many times you be looking over there and you be getting scared, and I just say, hey, look over here with me, and we get the looking, and you be like, hey, this was what you was looking at the whole time. I say, yeah. That's what we was looking at. And then sometimes I'm going to look where you was looking. And I'll be like, that's what you was looking at. Don't even worry about it. Look at that. That ain't even nothing to be scared of. You just go on over there. I'm going to watch you. I'm going to run in because something happened. But I'm right here. That's all we doing, family. That's it. Okay? So those are the 3 tips to heal or cope with your mother wound during the holidays, I will say. So tip number 1 is to realize coping is continuous. So spend less energy being upset with yourself and being triggered. Number 2, self-care is not superficial. You need to take care of all 4 areas of existence, which are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And tip number 3, you can only do so much. You need a loving mirror in your life. And I don't care if it's only one. You need a loving mirror. I don't care if you got 1 or 50 or 5,000. You need loving mirrors in your life. All right, family? So, look, we done. We out. I'm gonna drop a little call to action, and so I want to know, how can I better support you during the holidays as you heal? Let me know by completing the form in the description. All right, family, in the description of this video, I have put a form for you to complete and drop it in on there for me. Be transparent. Be 100. Be honest. I said be honest. Be 100. Be honest. Tell me how I can support you, because I'm gonna be 100 and honest with you. If I can support you, I will. If I can't, I won't. And I'll tell you I won't, and I'll lead you to somebody who can. So just keep it 100. Tell me what you need. Let me know, because as I said before, the journey to healing is your responsibility, but you don't have to do it alone. And before I leave, until the end of the year, my seasonal depression course, right? How to deal with seasonal affective disorder, which is what we call SAD. It is 20% off until the end of the year. 20% off. So make sure you cop that. All right, family. I got people out here looking at me, so I gotta go. Until next time, I love you. Peace out.